Okay. All right, let's see if we're live. I hope people didn't hear my groaning at the beginning. My bad.
There
Probably
you go.
did. Okay, let's see.
All right. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put up the thumbnail right now.
All right, cool. My bad. Yeah, y'all did definitely hear me give out a weird groan at the beginning. Don't worry about it, all right? Just don't worry about
It's fine. Um,
it. All right, you sound good.
all right, cool. Oh, is the game also on PS4? All right, cool.
Yeah, it's also on PS4. It's cross play between systems, but not between PC and PlayStation, which kind of sucks. But
Gotcha.
But other than that, we're good to go. And I think, did we just get a new subscriber? 96?
Oh, we're at 96.
Yeah.
Cool.
Four more. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, almost there, man.
And then we can finally customize our URL. That was the goal, man.
Oh, that's it. That's how we know we made it.
Hey, man, yeah. Once you customize your URL, it's gold in there.
Oh
Keeps going
man.
up.
Sheesh.
The
I
bar
was
is
saying that
low, but at
video.
least at least you can still go under the Congo line.
I was saying that that Final Fantasy reaction that you guys did, it's doing pretty well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like
And
view wise.
I checked your League of Legends one. That's like the best one we have. I think it's like 4K views. I'm like, people really care about this man's opinion.
Yeah.
What was it about
Yeah.
that trailer that made people just want to gravitate towards it, though?
It's literally every League of Legends trailer, dude. Like literally every single one. If you react to it, it will get you a ton of views.
That's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Me, Walt might just start doing that now. 'Cause I know he probably didn't watch any.
Yeah. You should.
All right, let me just tweet this out, and then we'll be good to go.
Okay.
Let's see what we got, and we're live. Can I tag Corey Barlog?
No, he's not gonna look at that. I mean, I guess if you want, I don't know.
I'm gonna tag him. He watches everything, man. His replies this week were golden.
I really don't think he's gonna watch this, but okay.
uh, yeah, I'm gonna tag him. Just like how I tag Herman Hulst too. Shout out to
Yeah,
him.
and what happened then, huh?
That man's been silent as the grave. He's too busy on his planes right now.
Yeah,
I'm glad that Corey's back on Twitter though.
yeah, but what a fucking weird like. The moment he comes back on Twitter, everything just hits the fan. Like, God, if I was him, honestly, I would go right back into hiding, man. Cause fuck this.
He got the smoke, man. He got the smoke. He wanted to post up his date nights, and I feel on that one.
Yeah.
Shouts to him, dog. Looking nice and spiffy in those pictures.
Oh man. Um.
All right, I'm good to go whenever you are.
All right. I was trying to think what else to put in the tags, but I think we're good. Um. The infamous. Oh, yeah. Let me put Sly Cooper, and then we're good to go.
All right. He's just in. All right, yeah, we're good.
All right. All right, let's get started. Um, all right, guys, welcome to the 67th episode of the DualShock Sense Podcast. I'm your host, Soul, connoisseur of anime waifus, joined by we only have two-thirds of the usual trio here today. Macho, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing fantastic, actually. I got some great breaking news. Well, not even breaking news. It happened like the other day, but man, the King of Kingdom Hearts and Final Fanatic, he 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 was jumping off walls the other day because the fiance Sammy, man, your soul, she pulled the impossible card again. She did it again, man.
What?
She got me. Well, I paid for it, but regardless, she actually got me a pre-order for the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition.
Uh,
We were at the freaking Nintendo, man. We were at this store's website for tooth and nail for like 3 hours. Nothing was happening, right? And she got farther than me for somehow. I was waiting at the store page for like 20, 25 minutes. Couldn't even put the damn thing in my cart. She immediately goes on her phone, said, "Oh, I got in the cart. I got the payment stuff. Let's put it what we gotta do." And I'm like, "All right, cool. We're doing this." Waiting at that payment information for, I kid you not, so like an hour or more, just to put in our payment information.
so
And
wait, so these pre-orders were like really that hard to get?
yeah, dude, the people were absolutely flooding the sites, and it's because Nintendo's like, "Hey, we're doing this thing tomorrow, so make sure you get ready." And everyone was like, "Well, I got my bots ready, so I'm good to go." But like everyone else that really wants it, they're stuck in these pages. And in my head, I'm like, "Well, everybody's using Google Chrome, maybe, so that's probably why like the website like just doesn't want to load anything because people are just flooding like these servers." And she was on Safari, so like maybe that's why like not a lot of people are using Safari like website, so maybe that's why she got in so quickly. But regardless, we were waiting this thing for like over an hour, and like it went from being like out of stock to not being just available at all to not being able to put it in your cart, and like it was a hassle, man. Nintendo is there's some scumbags for like, for doing this to their
Oh man.
fans. I'll just say that right now. Like like in my head, I'm just like, why Nintendo, man? Just why? Why to do it on your stores? It's the worst thing in the world. But lo and
Yeah.
behold, man, uh, about like an hour or so after all the shenanigans, all the drama, I let her know from War. So shout out to War64. He actually put out a tweet saying, "Hey, people are saying that they're getting some success in their pre-orders." So I immediately just let her know, and then we got it like right then and there.
Mm.
So shout outs to her, man. She secured the Xenoblade 3 Chronicles Special Edition. Um, she even secured the PS5, man. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Damn, okay.
that's why I'm putting a ring on it, man. It's one of the many reasons I'm putting a
That's
ring.
oh, okay. I was about to say that's the only reason.
It's one of the many reasons why, man. She woke me up in the middle of the night, in her old place, and when I was trying to get a PS5, and then she literally just woke me up. Not kidding, like 1 or 2 in the morning. Woke me up, she's like, "Babe, I got the PS5." I'm like, "Stop lying, I'm going back to sleep." And she's like,
Oh man.
"No, look," and she actually showed me the receipt. I'm like, "You're kidding me." So, so she's a true winner, man. Shout outs to her.
Man,
Yeah.
congrats, man. I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know about this situation. I feel like I heard like rumblings or just like, I would just scroll through my timeline and I see something Nintendo related and I just, continue to scroll by. But like, but no, I feel like I was hearing some things about like Xenoblade, the pre-order situation being like extremely weird. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah, it's
Um,
even weirder because they're launching the game as intended, right, July 27th, but the contents of the special edition, which happens to be like the art book and the steel book, aren't being released until fall. So,
mm,
regardless, they're releasing separately. So I didn't know why they couldn't just have a system where you could just pre-order like the art book or for heaven's sake, man, just buy the art book. Like,
yeah.
just sell the art book separately and the steelbook or whatever, and then just sell the game as you normally would. You could probably even charge art book and steelbook more if you did like that. But I don't know, man. Nintendo's weird. You still have to go on the app to freaking like meet up with people online. So it is what it is. But yeah, we got it. The bag is secured. I'm happy. I'm excited. July
Nice.
27th, man. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, so as I said earlier, we only have 2 out of the 3 trio. Uh, I I wanted to talk about this because I saw a video of it on Twitter. Um, so obviously, Walt is at Anime Expo.
It is a
Masha,
weeb.
did you see the amount of fucking people there?
I'm starting to get a good sense of how popular it really is. Yes.
Yeah, like I Godspeed for my boy, all power to him in going out there and doing that. But man, dude, I saw the amount of people that were at Anime Expo on Twitter, and I could smell the anime weeb bo like coming off the screen, man. Like that is the last place on earth that I would want to be in. And that only really like cemented my opinion of never wanting to go to any cons or events or concerts or anything of that nature. Like I see that many people cramped in one place and it just like shivers. Like I'm not even like claustrophobic or anything like that, but like I see that many people gathered together in one place, and I'm just like, I like, why would anyone want to be in the middle of that, dude? Especially during a pandemic. Like you just know that like I remember like I was reading some comments and people were saying like, oh well, they check if you're vaccinated or things like that. And I'm like, it takes literally just one person to not be vaccinated for that entire place to go fucking down, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. It depends because I went to the Final Fantasy VII concert in New York, and thought for sure I was gonna get COVID.
yeah.
But you need your vaccinations. Everything was good, and like man, it was a packed crowd. Every seat was filled for that concert,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow me and my fiance just escaped without any signs of COVID whatsoever. So it really depends. But for stuff with, I understand like not wanting to go to cons though because certain cons like they do very particular, man. They do very
Yeah.
particular. Like
Yeah.
from I know going to like a Kingdom Hearts event in New York City. It was at a Nintendo store, so the opening for Dream Drop Distance. And let me just tell you,
Oh man.
it was good people, good people, great fans. But man, I don't think I ever want to do that ever again. It's I felt like the nerd like just painting over me the entire way, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to people that love that stuff, but man, I don't know if I can do that again. At least alone. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. You know, I wanted to go to a group of people. Like going to PAX East with the Lords of Gaming crew and I
Mhm.
learned podcast crew was just a ton of fun. Like that was like a really fun event, and it wasn't like the whole we're rubbing up in each other, we're mad sweaty and everything. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can smell the funk. But Anime Expo, I don't know. I don't get that same vibe. I feel like it's a lot less clean, if you know what I'm saying. So,
Well, let's be honest, man. Weebs. Uh, oh, this is so mean. I almost don't want to say it, but I kind of do. You know, natural or decent hygiene is as rare to them as as a as a lady, man. So,
those are yeah, you know what? Those are facts, right? Those are facts. Which is why
um,
I think Walt felt really comfortable with his
oh
people over
man.
there. You know what I'm saying? I think he's getting a
uh,
good kick. I hope he cosplays over there. He doesn't put on deodorant,
oh
which
man.
I'm sure he's doing right now.
I saw that reminds me of this meme that I saw that it was like somebody had like a cologne in their hand and like the brand on the bottle was said League of Legends on it and the caption was like oh yeah women repellent. Listen, I want to be clear, man. Like this is totally just jokes, man. Like I'm a huge weeb
Nah,
myself, man. So this is
you're not joking at all. You really believe it? It's okay. It's all right. Own up to it, man. Own up to it. Well, we got in your ass, buddy. At least put on some deodorant. To take a shower.
oh
But take a shower
man.
before you go and when you come back. All right. Just.
Man, getting me in trouble, man. Oh man.
Hey, man. We love our weed
Um,
brothers and sisters. It's okay.
yeah, that's right. Y'all just gotta watch yourself. That's it.
Watch
But
yourself or watch yourself. Oh.
Wash yourself. Or maybe both, man. Because if you show up smelling like that next to me, we're gonna have some issues, man. So,
Oh my
um,
god.
but guys, welcome to the podcast. We want to remind you guys to go ahead and like, share it out, consider subscribing to the channel. We're almost at 100, man. So that's very
Yes,
exciting.
sir.
Um, so yeah, without further ado, we're gonna start talking about the games that we have been playing this past week. Macho, I'll jump in first because it's really been like nothing for me. I think I'm slowly kind of creeping back into like another gaming funk where like I'm jumping in between like Horizon, Hitman. What else did I? And even like I went back to Mass Effect just for like a little like comfort food, and like nothing is like really like sticking right now. Like I'm just in
Mm.
that mood where like I don't want to really play anything. It's weird. Like I was like no kidding. I was on the PlayStation Store last night for like what must have been an hour, just like scrolling through. I even went into the new PlayStation Plus and checked out like the classic games and like the PS4, PS5 games that they have on there to see like if there was like anything like I was really about to spend like $20 to be like, oh, is there an old game that I want to play? And like it was cool. Like they had the inFamous games there, and I honestly like I was looking at Fallout New Vegas, and I was like, ooh, maybe I should go back on and try that out.
That might be a good one.
Um, yeah, but then like then like I literally walked away from PlayStation Store not buying anything. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. I'm in a weird funk. I really don't feel like playing anything. Um, which is odd. But yeah. So
I understand that feeling though. Honestly, that's how I was yesterday. Where like I have games to play because I got new games, but I just didn't feel like anything. I was just tired.
yeah, and like I even like considered like I was on Final Fantasy Integrate on 7 Remake Integrate on the PlayStation Store, but like that's a game that I want to own physically, so like
Yeah,
I
get
was
on
like
that
no,
one.
not today, not today. Um
Oh man, you're
yeah.
teasing me, buddy. You know it was funny about that was I was thinking like, why don't you just play Integrate?
Yeah, I know. Um, but yeah, so I mean that's really it for me. I've been watching more TV instead of playing games, to be honest. So like,
We'll talk about it, man. What have
um,
you been watching?
yeah. So Umbrella Academy season 3. I'm like literally on the last episode. Really fun show. More Young Justice. I can understand why people don't like this season is definitely season 3 part 2, the Outsiders one.
Hmm.
It's definitely the weakest one. But like even their weakest season is still like really fun. Like I'm still having like a blast with it. Um so yeah, Young Justice is pretty cool. Um and I think that's pretty much it. Um I'm on so actually I just noticed I don't know how this was possible, but like now the entire like seventh season of I think the first half of the seventh season of Fear the Walking Dead is on Amazon now, and I just have that like through I don't know like some like other subscription through Amazon that I have, so I can like literally watch that entire seventh season and um which like I think you needed like AMC Plus to was like the only like subscription service that it was on for the longest time, but now it's on Amazon. So like that's like a I don't know like a kind of like comfort food show for me. Like
I
I
didn't
don't
know it
know
was on a
like
seventh season. Like, holy crap.
yeah. So like I don't know like Walking Dead is it's it's kind of like it's The Walking Dead. You know what you're getting with it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know like I I dig Fear the Walking Dead for sure. So like yeah, I'll definitely be watching that seventh season here shortly after I finish Umbrella Academy. But then also out of nowhere, I don't know if you are familiar with Money Heist on Netflix.
No.
It's a really you should watch that. It's basically I mean it's literally in the name of the title. It's like this group of criminals coming together from they're all from Spain, and it's all in Spanish too. I mean, you can switch it to like an English dub, but like the actual the original language, it all sounds way better. But yeah, it's them coming together, and they're planning out this really elaborate heist to rob, I think, the Bank of Spain.
Hmm.
And they're all really interesting characters, and down to earth and funny. And it's heartbreaking at times, and people die, and yeah, it's a really really good show. But then out of nowhere, that show finished its fifth season, I think last year, or it might have been this year. But like it like literally just recently finished. But then out of nowhere, there's a Money Heist Korea now, and I like I didn't see any trailers for this. I didn't even hear that this was even happening. So I was just on Netflix, just like scrolling, and it's like in the top 10 most watched shows like right now, and I'm like, what? There's a Money Heist Korea now. So
So now you know it's gonna be
um,
extra lit.
yeah, for sure, man. Like I'm recently I've been, I want to say ever since Squid Game, to be honest. I've been like a sucker for just like Korean shows in general. From things like Sweet Home or Sisyphus. Yeah, like I dig Korean shows now, and so yeah, I'll definitely be watching this. It's only like 6 episodes, but like just the thought of like a Money Heist being based in Korea now with an entirely Korean cast is super exciting to me. Um, so yeah, and
Nice.
also all of us are dead is also a great Korean show as well. But yeah, so I'm excited to watch that. Yeah, man, like I said, really just been watching TV, um, reading a little bit more, and that is pretty much it for me. What about you, man?
Damn. Okay. Cool. Well, that's what's up. No gaming though. It's wild for a game
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah. Oh, hey, shut up.
I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I actually have been kind of dabbling in and out of some the new games that came out. So new week, new release of the week has been DNF Duel. So I've been talking about this game before. Basically, an anime action fighting game from 18 and who were the guys that did Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Arc System Works. So it has a beautiful, gorgeous art style of Arc System game, which you guys are seeing on the screen right now, but with all the workings of a crazy Marvel vs. Capcom game, man. Like all the specials are super crazy and fun to look at and really easy to pull off, but like it feels really good to just do everything in this game. Like it feels like everything connects into everything, and it gets wild, man. Like I'm already seeing like infinites, I'm seeing full bar, combo KOs, and like it's some really fun stuff, man. The biggest thing about this game that makes it different from other games is the fact that you have like a magic bar, which is essentially assigned to one button. So you have this one button with, of course, multiple moves attached to it, depending on which direction you're putting facing the direction buttons in. But it depletes his meter, and you have a limited amount based on your health. So it increases the more you lose health. And you get some really crazy combos if you actually connect some stuff together and you're canceling one thing into the other. But it feels like a Marvel's Capcom game, just with like the flair of like Guilty Gear Strive and Grand Blue Fantasy. So it's a really fun game, man. I haven't delved too much into story mode. There's arcade mode, there's survival mode. Online is really solid too because it's used rollback netcode and the lobbies. Thank God, Soul. The lobbies aren't like past Arc System games where they have like a full lobby or anything like that, like with player avatars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That would be like their ranked match or their ranked system. Because Guilty Gear actually has like a tower system, where it's the same thing. You have an avatar, you go through different levels of more like you actually win games, but you still have to actually queue up like next to like a little arcade stick in this lobby and wait for people to come by. Like no, like the NF do actually abolishes all of that. Has the regular standard. You want to do ranked match, press ranked match, get into a game, find a player near you, you're good to go. That's it. And thankfully, it's actually really fast, man. I've been joining games really quickly in my area, so
Nice.
thankfully it all works. It could have. The thing is, this game could have released and lobbies could have been broken, online couldn't work, keep a constant disconnects, right? But thankfully, everything works. Everything is really fun, and I'm just enjoying the hell out of the game, man. It's incredible. I think it's definitely gonna be one of my favorite fighting games of recent memory, next to like Killer Instinct and everything, and Ultimate
Mhm.
Marvel's Capcom 3. Like I'm really excited to get into more of tournaments of this game. I actually signed up for my first tournament for this month,
Oh,
so
nice.
yeah, so it's gonna be really fun. This game is definitely great. One of the things that makes it really unique too is the fact that I mentioned before how the specials are really crazy. A lot of the stuff can just take up half the screen. So there's a big there's a big like emphasis on movement and really just kind of staying in motion all at the same time because since so many characters take up so much of the screen, and the character I play as, her name's Striker, she's more of a close range person. So obviously her range isn't as crazy when it comes to her moves because she needs to be more close up in your face. But other characters are just like they'll be up in your face from being like all the way across the screen. You'll be like, all right, how am I gonna get around this? And it basically just has to do with what you gotta do, which is you gotta do the dodge rolls, or they just show right there on the screen. You gotta do the certain guard cancels, and like you just gotta be really smart with like how you play certain characters. And I like that the game really respects that. Like every character is really unique in that sense. That's what makes fighting games so much fun to explore and like really break down. But this game itself is just it's a lot of fun because you could just do a lot of crazy stuff pretty easily. Um, it's really beginner friendly too. Like if people are like actually looking at this like I want to play it, like go for it. Like it's really beginner friendly, and there's no better time to get into a fighting game than when it first releases, when everyone's figuring stuff out. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, before the time where everyone's already mastered the game.
yeah, pretty much because that was my thing with Guilty Gear Strive. Like I wanted to get into it, but there's not really much in the roster. That was like okay, like I want to jump in. And then Biken releases, who was the character I was waiting for, and everyone's already like kind of got like at the game, so I'm just like, well, I'm not even gonna bother at this point. like what's the
Yeah.
point, you know? But DNF Duel had enough characters in here that I liked the character designs. I want to learn more about the mechanics and just the characters in general. So overall, like it was definitely worth a buy. And the thing is, it's only $50 too. It's actually discounted from regular price fighting games, but comes with a lot of stuff to do in it. So hopefully it
Gotcha.
just adds more, and there's more to be planned for this, especially DLC characters. So that'd be really cool.
Nice. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but
It's not, I didn't know that that team was, so you said specifically that they are um kind of comprised of former Arc System Works developers.
well, it's 18. So these are the same developers that worked on Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3.
Yeah.
And so they've been kind of dormant for like the past like ever since then, as far as I know. Maybe they've worked
Oh
on other
wow.
stuff. Maybe they came in and out of like other fighting games too, or assisted with some stuff. But this is the first time that they headed a fighting game, from my understanding, in quite
Gotcha.
a long time. With the with the backings of Arc System Works because of their character designs, and you know how Arc System games look. So you can tell
Yeah.
it's one of their games.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah. So overall, it's a great game. I will say that if depending on what platform you want to play it on, if all your friends are on PC, get on PC. That's actually the version with the less input lag too. PlayStation versions are notorious for having pretty bad input lag for some fighting games, and it could be something with the system. It could be something with Unreal Engine or a mix of both. But from what I'm understanding, man, the PS5 version at 4K has the worst input lag of all the versions.
Oh man.
It's at least 7 to 8 frames of input lag, which is
Sheesh.
really freaking high, man. Yeah, especially when you're online. And I was noticing it too. And I was playing the game earlier this week. I boot up the PS5 version. I went to trials mode. I wasn't even online. I was on trials mode, just doing like different combos stuff like that. And it felt like my character was in mud. And the character I play as Striker, she's a fast character.
Yeah.
She can link together combos pretty easily, and it feels good to play. Like it feels really good to play these characters. But for her, if like for me, it's like just picking up the controller, and, like moving around with, like it feels phenomenal. But then I play the game earlier this week. I'm just like, why does she feel like she's like so much slow? Like it feels like it's less responsive than usual. And it turns out
Yeah.
because the PS5 version has crazy input lag. So my advice to people, if you're gonna play the PlayStation version at least, what I did is I downloaded the PS4 version and I set my TV to 1080p resolution. So because that actually results in less input lag of the entire game. It's like 3 to 4 frames compared to the 7 on PS5 at 4K, or I think it was like PS4 Pro at 4K, and it was like 6 frames or 5 frames. And all that stuff really does matter. Like all that really does matter, especially for responsiveness and when you're playing online and stuff like that. Like this is a fast game. Last thing you want is for your button inputs to be not there, especially when you're blocking stuff like that. So all that stuff really matters. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna play casually, you don't have to worry about it. You probably won't even notice the difference. But when I booted up the PS4 version, I started messing around with them. Like, oh god, like yeah, I felt the difference. So
Does it have a native PS5 version, or is it through backwards compatibility?
yeah, it's both. It has a native PS5 version, and you can do backwards compatibility on through the
Gotcha.
PS4 version. So
Okay.
if you're on PS5, boot up, get the PS4 version, backwards compatible with that. Set your TV to 1080p, and then you'll be good to go. Like it's only 3 to 4 frames of input lag, and on PC, I think the most was like 2. So you'll be right around the competition around there if you are thinking about playing more seriously, or you just want better responsive gameplay. So it's up to you
Okay.
on how you want to do it. But either way, great game, great game. I can't wait to actually experience more and play with more players and just really get into the tournament scene. And I miss it. Like I miss these Marvel's Capcom 3 days, man. So I'm getting those vibes again. So it's cool.
Dope. Yeah. Sounds good, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
Indeed.
besides that, I've been also playing the Capcom Fighting Collection. So it's really just been a fighting game kind of vibe this past couple weeks. And this
Yeah.
collection sold. This is the one for the collectors out there. Like if you like the Capcom games, just fighting games in general, the box art for this thing is freaking sick, dude. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, it's gorgeous. It's all hand drawn. It's a hand drawn cover art of all the games in the collection. That includes all the Darkstalkers games, a game called Red Earth that actually was never released in America. There's also the Capcom Fighting Gem Collection, something like that, and a couple other like really cool, really different kind of fighting games. And it's a great collection of just of all their kind of hits from the past like 90s and stuff like that. But all of it has like a super funky tone to it. It reminds me a lot of Street Fighter Third Strike, where it has like that hip hop flavor to it, and it felt different. It felt really cool. That's how I felt for a lot of these games in these collections, especially for stuff that I had there, like Cyberbots, where
Mm.
it's just super freaking cool, man. Like it's a great collection of all these amazing fighting games, and it's such a great package because you could actually like do quick saves. You can do quick replays. There's a whole museum of like all the really cool character art, even fan art of all these games too. You get the whole library of tracks as well for every game. So there's a lot in that collection to like really like dive into and be a part of. And it's only like $40. It's like it's such a great deal for this collection, man. Like I'm glad we're in the era now. I don't know if you noticed this, but we're in the era where like these companies are releasing some really great collection games from their past catalogs and doing really good justice to them.
Mm.
Like
Past catalogs, man.
yeah, exactly. The old games. I'd love to see it. I mean, yeah, the Konami stuff with Castlevania, right? I've been raving about those games as of late. Now the Capcom fighting game collections have been amazing. So I think they're coming out with something else soon too, but another one. But yeah, man, I've been diving into those. Like these are games I want to get the platinum for because they're just so much fun to play. And
Nice. Hell yeah, man.
yeah, so they're great. And I think that's it. I think well, I did beat Crisis Core, but I won't dive too much into that other than the fact that it was just a great replay. But
Yeah.
so I'll tell you right now, man, if you play Crisis Core, you're not doing the side content unless they change it up drastically.
Oh man.
It's 300 missions.
Hey yo.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
300 missions for a side content in Crisis Core, which understandably because it was a PSP game and like you need the quick ins and outs as far as like how you're gonna play the game, right? That's the mentality of
Yeah.
it. Jump on the train, do maybe like 5 to 10 missions, and then get off the train. You're good, right? But
Yeah.
not when you're sitting on the couch and you're just going through all these areas. I'm really wondering how they're actually gonna do that. Are they gonna tackle that thing itself, whether they're actually going to keep all 300 missions or are they going to change it up to be a little bit more involved, a little more interesting. Because similar
Yeah.
to Final 7 Remake, where they had side quests that weren't the greatest, but they're really important in how they told the story and the characters, and that's what made them worth doing. Crisis Core doesn't have that at all. So,
Oh man.
so if anything, I will see how they're gonna do it. If they're actually gonna give more priority to the side quests, actually do have more story context because there are a couple that do, but nothing like super crazy.
Gotcha.
But I will say though, the rise and fall of Sephiroth is one of the greatest things in this game for sure. Like just seeing his actual transition into the sociopath that he becomes is really heartbreaking, and it made me see Sephiroth in this whole new light that he was definitely a victim of what was going on, and it's really sad to see that. Um, and then what happens to Cloud and everything, and then obviously Zack being the hero of the story, and what happens to him. It really makes me wonder what they're gonna do with Seven Rebirth and just a Crisis Core remake in general, because it definitely seems more like a remake than a remaster. But either way,
Yeah.
it's a great game. It definitely made me tear up at the end. I'm not gonna lie, it brought the tears back.
Oh man.
Listen, that story is really sad, man. So, but regardless, it was a ton of fun. So I'm excited for hopefully the end of this year, if the game actually comes at the end of this year.
Nice. Yeah. Um. Yeah, because I feel like it definitely looked like, and again, I mean, this is from someone who doesn't know, but it looked like, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Does it look like they're trying not to do like a remaster, but to make it more fit in line with what they did with Seven Remake?
That's the speculation. Is it seems like that. That's what it seems
Yeah.
like. But because a lot of people are hoping, or at least wondering if it's to have any more ties to Seven Remake, or if it's going to fit in with that continuity. And you wouldn't be wrong to think that, one, because well, modern development, stuff like that, but two, because Zack in that trailer for the Crisis Core remake has a different Buster Sword than what is actually in the first game.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, maybe it is like they're actually trying to like make it more in line with Seven Remake, and that's not necessarily a bad thing either, because that means that one is going to be an improvement on the original game, which is, in my opinion, is needed, and secondly, is everything's going to fit. Everything's going to be like in one ecosystem, so to speak. So I'm for it.
Right.
I think it'd be really cool if they did something along those lines like that.
Yeah. So like what I'm getting at is like I feel like for sure like this Crisis Core reunion is like it's going to be like the definitive version. Like I feel like you can't go back to the original after that because like you would want to play reunion and then jump into Seven Remake and then Rebirth versus going back to the original first or something like that. Like I feel like that like they're lining these up to be like okay like this is the new like way to experience like the total like Final Fantasy VII story, I guess.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. They're doing that two different ways though. Actually, they're doing that with the remakes that we're seeing on console, and then Ever Crisis, which is like the episodic mobile game that's retelling all of like the Final Fantasy stories.
cool.
So we'll see. There's two different ways to actually experience that, which is actually yeah, it's super dope to see. Because again, you're fulfilling like both fandoms, I guess. So you have the hardcore turn-based fandom that's all they want, and then you also have the people that like more of the action stuff, like I do, and get to indulge in that with the bigger budget stuff that you expect from the studio. So
Right.
overall,
Nice.
overall, we're eating, man.
For sure. All right. So let's jump into some of these topics.
Yeah.
Let's knock out a smaller one first before we get into the bigger ones. Persona is Sega apparently has interest in making some of their IPs in the live action series or movies, and this included. I think they specifically did call out Persona as being one of the ones that they're interested in. Um, this has bad idea written all over it, in my opinion. Because you just know that it's gonna be like, um, oh, give me name. Oh, okay, so like Ryuji, for instance, in the live action American version, it's gonna be Ryan, or
Oh
Makoto
God.
in the American live action version, it's gonna be Megan or something like that. So, um,
Yeah, man.
yeah, I don't know how you do because like the Persona 4 like anime, for instance, like that's I have a really like soft spot in my heart for that anime. Like I really adore that anime. But then the Persona 5 one is rough, man.
Is it?
Um,
Damn.
in terms of both like animation, but also just like you're trying to fit a 100 a game that took me like 130 hours into a 12 or 24 anime series. That's just impossible, man. You can't realistically do that. So like a lot of like the moments in the actual game that were given, space and time to breathe and naturally sort of like, organically take place, right? Like all the time that you're spending getting to know these characters and hang out with them and build sort of relationships with these people. You kind of start out with each confidant at rank 1, and you work your way up to rank 10, and you become like best friends with these people. That's entirely cut super short in the anime, right? And it's the same thing with the palaces, right? You're spending like a good like 10 to maybe 20 hours in each of these palaces, if you're slow like me. um and in the anime that's condensed to like an episode maybe at most, so like 20 minutes before they move on to the next palace. So like what I'm trying to say is that like I don't see this getting any better in a theoretical live action version. Now the thing that I think could be cool, and that's because I've watched a lot of Korean dramas, but it's like the slice of life kind of aspects to Persona. I think will translate pretty well into this new sort of like media or whatever. Um, but again, the moment that you start mixing in the supernatural stuff and the palaces and things like that, I think that's when it starts to get. It will probably get a little bit muddy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I don't know, man. Again, I just go back to the thing of like trying to condense a 100-hour story into, they want to make this a TV series, so let's give it the benefit of the doubt and say a 12-hour TV show. That will probably work a little bit better than the 12-24 episode anime that, those episodes are only 20 minutes each. But still, I don't know, man. I'm skeptical. I'm keeping my eye on it, but I'm still skeptical. How are you feeling about this?
Not good at all. These adaptations don't really work well, man. We can just look back at other ones like Fullmetal Alchemist, Bleach, like all these live action adaptations are just not good. Attack on Titan, right? that
Yeah.
that had one as well. I went to go see in theaters with a buddy.
Oh man.
Um, it's just not good stuff, man. I don't know. Like I think you're right where they would have to do like a lot of slice of life, like sort of like takes on it. And I don't know. For me, like a story with Persona 5, it could definitely lend itself to like a good live action show, but I don't know, man. Like I'm still in the boat that I think Persona 4's story is a lot better. It's really just because of the environment, like the actual like the at home, like the weird town, uh, you know,
Yeah.
exchange student kind of vibes to it. And there's
Yeah.
like a murder mystery. I think there's a lot more intrigue with that than just like being rebels in a society, so to speak. Like we live in a society kind of thing. Um, so I think if they approach it like a little something a little more like that, or even like Persona 3 story where you're actually a part of like a school and there's like this elite group of people, that take care of whatever it is that they do. I don't actually know that game's story, but I think something like that lends itself a little more than Persona 5 story. But I mean, I guess it really just means how they approach it. So, I guess we'll find out. But I don't know, man. It's a rocky bridge to come across. I know Netflix is gonna be on it like white on rice. So
Yeah.
they better do it right. But I don't know, man. That recent thing where they tried to have the Avatar TV show and the creators of the Avatar series just went up and left because of creative differences.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know with that, man. I don't know. We'll see who picks it up, but regardless, Alice has a lot of plans and it seems to not really, releasing the games. So, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point.
But I think it's interesting that you're starting to see like a lot of these companies moving into this direction, where they want to do this. And it's funny because I literally my last class was like literally one of our lessons was about this very thing, which is multimedia storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
and adaptations and sort of like this idea of like, hey, like not everyone is going to experience your IP through like its original like released form or whatever. So like not everyone is going to play The Last of Us. So what do? You go and target the audience who will never play video games by, hey, here's a TV adaptation of it. Um, so it's again like the same thing with The Witcher. Not everyone's gonna read the books, not everyone's gonna read the games, so you try to cater to that audience in a different way that will get them to actually experience that IP and property.
Yep.
And yeah, you definitely see a lot. It's the same thing with Arcane, and League of Legends. It's the same thing what the Destiny devs want to do with Destiny. That's why they want to turn that into a movie or whatever.
Of course.
So yeah, I just think it's fascinating that yeah, you're seeing a lot of companies move in this direction.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it's smart at the same time because especially when the content is so rich, like they'll find ways to entice people in. Like for us, it was definitely Arcane. We're not playing League of Legends, but we're definitely watching Arcane. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
for sure, for sure.
or even with Project L, I think they have. I think it's called their new fighting game. That looks freaking dope, man. Of course, I'm gonna jump in with that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like I tell you right now, man, I'm never playing League of Legends, but
Yep.
uh, but I'm happy like these universes like with such rich like content can bleed into like other avenues where I can enjoy it more. The Witcher, um, maybe in Persona one of these days. We'll see, man. We'll see. I haven't really delved too much into the anime. I watched a little bit of Persona 4's anime, not the golden version. But I don't know. I'm not really big on like seeing those as anime. Really, it feels weird like just having a lot of that stuff skipped. You know what I mean? It's like when Harry Potter
Right.
fans get really upset that some movies just skip a lot of stuff that happens in the books. It's sort of
Yeah.
that same mentality for me with Persona, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I get that. Um, oh, Jesus Christ. Ruby to cross over with Justice League, an upcoming feature film with from Rooster Teeth and Warner Bros. What?
That's what I mean. Sure.
Sounds dumb as hell, man.
I mean, sure.
I mean, I just read that from uh where is it? Oh, Variety. God, dude. Ruby needs to. Oh man, don't get me started. Um,
but
so
I mean, to that point, man, I gotta ask because Walt's not here, so I gotta get my shots in. Where's
oh
Persona
man.
6?
Uh, it's you don't want to. My thing is you don't want to make the same mistake of, the infamous
Uh huh.
winter 2014 thing that Alice did back in the day, and then the game not be ready for 2 years out. So,
Oh man,
um,
that was a thing. That's wild.
yeah. So I hope that they learn their lesson and that they're kind of making sure that they when they do announce that game, it's a little bit closer to release. And then also they have what's it called? Re Fantasy, I think it's called,
What's up,
which is
technology
like
gaming? Sorry, go
which
ahead.
is so the lead producer of the Persona series, Kashi, Hashino or something like that. Let me look up his name really quick. But he's basically been like the series director of Persona since I think Persona 3. So he's moved on to this new fantasy IP at Atlas, and it's supposed to apparently be like literally Persona, but in a fantasy setting. So it's like literally like that studio's next like big project, and he's heading it up, while like I don't want to call him like a side team, but like essentially another team is going forward with the Persona series. So I do wonder if the reason why Persona 6 is taking so long is because like they have another team working on something else. So like I wonder if they're working on both of these things at the same time, or if this fantasy game is going to come out first, or like what's happening there.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's when did it come out? It came out 2016 in Japan and then 2017 in the US. So it's definitely been a while, man.
yeah. It's been a hot minute, man. Especially after the success of Persona 5 and Royal. Essentially, right? Two games that got 10 out of 10s.
And they're about to have even more success with those games coming out on everything now. So
Yeah, I know they pushed the red button. Final Fantasy. Persona 6 is in dire straits. Push the red button. Release it for all consoles.
oh man.
Get the bag from Phil Spencer. And yeah, so that's exactly what they're
Nintendo
doing.
too, man. Sheesh.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
gonna get
exactly.
yeah.
Nintendo
They're
too.
gonna
So let's say they push the red button.
Yeah, they're gonna sell like gangbusters on the Switch, man. I'm excited for them for sure.
For sure, yeah.
Um,
And low key, I hope that our Xbox brethren actually buys Persona after Phil working so damn hard for getting those
oh
things
man,
on your system, man.
yeah.
Seriously, like buy those games, man. Like I don't care if you play Persona 5 before, buy it. I might be I might be the Persona 5 simp here, man, because I might get Persona 5 just on the PS5 just to get just to get that cover art again with the white label. I might just do it.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's Persona, and it apparently being made into a TV series, man. Um,
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, yeah, we'll see. I just hope that like let it be something that's created like in Japan. Like I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be weird if it's like it's if it's like oh, Christopher Nolan is directing the Persona TV series. You know what I mean? Like I don't want I don't want someone here in the West making it. Like let it like Persona is so Japanese and rooted in that culture. Like it'd be weird like if if they let someone from the West, take helm with
Yeah,
that project.
it's like when Netflix made like the Death Note Americanized,
Exactly. Yeah.
and how
Uh,
weird and how dumb that was.
yeah. Yeah. Um, or God, I don't remember her name, but like even I think back on the Ghost in the Shell live action adaptation, which
Oh God.
Ghost in the Shell is like my favorite anime of all time. But like the main character in that anime, the anime and or in the movie, really like the entire property. The main character's name is Major Motoko Kusanagi, and they gave her a fucking like American name in the in the live action Scarlett Johansson version.
Oh
Like I
yikes.
think her name was like Mary in the Scarlett Johansson version.
Oh
I'm just like,
God.
what?
Yeah, that's
It's like,
not. That sounds like a big nope right already. Jeez.
which is like sure, like it would sound weird if like Scarlett Johansson was given the name Motoko Kusanagi because she's clearly not Japanese. But then at that point, it's like, okay, well, why did you hire a Japanese actor in the first place? So like, I don't know. That's a whole can of worms. But yeah, I don't know. It's things that I'm sure that they are thinking about and that they are cognizant about.
Yeah, sure.
Um, but yeah, man. So that's that. Um, let's talk about some sad news. Some sad news particular to me and you, to both me and you, as huge Sucker Punch
Oh
fans.
man, this
Yeah.
broke my heart.
So let me pull up the quote really quick. Okay. So Sucker Punch clarifies that they do not have plans to revisit the inFamous or Sly Cooper franchises right now,
Okay.
and that no other studio is working on these IPs either. So,
No.
so, this comes from they did like a little, I think 24 years sort of like anniversary or celebration of the studios. So they had like a big blog post talking about the future of the studio and whatnot. Uh, so this comes directly from them, quote unquote. As our games continue to grow in scale and complexity, they require the full attention of our studio. With our focus on our current project, we have no plans to revisit inFamous or Sly Cooper right now, and no other studio is currently working on projects related to those franchises either. These characters are very special and near and dear to our hearts, so while we never say never to reopening those doors down the road, for now, there are no inFamous or Sly Cooper games in development. Um, Obviously, to us, heartbreaking news. Um, these are two franchises that I mean, Slide Two is one of my favorite games of all time. I know you hold both of these franchises near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
What was your sort of immediate reaction when you saw this? Literally coming out of the blue, like this came out of nowhere. So what was your reaction?
I want to throw my phone across the screen. I want to be a raging fanboy and be like, "What is wrong with you? What's going on? Why? Why are you abandoning the Why are you abandoning my boy Sly Cooper and Cole McGrath? What's going on, man?" Like my immediate reaction was honestly just
Hey yo, what the fuck?
that was exactly what I was
Oh
thinking
man.
of, man. That was exactly what I was like. What the fuck, bro? Um, no, no. I mean, in all seriousness, it makes sense, right? It makes sense that they want they did. And we said before too. Like, why would they want to go back to something they already explored and felt really confident about and are passionate. We're passionate about back then, but have new creatives now, and they have different ways they want to go about their their project stuff like that now, which is fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that didn't really get me. Like, I understand they want to work on Ghost of Tsushima 2 and really focus on that and any other projects they have in line work that we don't know about. But what really got me, Soul, was the fact that they said no other studios are working on these
Yeah.
IPs.
Yeah, that was, and I'll let you continue really quick, but like that, I agree. That was the big surprise, shocker to me because like them saying that they're not working on Sly or Infamous, not a surprise to me in the slightest. They're
Right.
one of the smaller studios at Sony Interactive Entertainment, so it makes sense that they can't be in a Insomniac or a Gorilla or even a Naughty Dog where they can, or even a Santa Monica where they can work on multiple things at the same time. Like Sucker Punch has always been, I think, like under like around the 150 mark. Like they're not the biggest studio at Sony, so like it makes sense that they they kind of like for the people that they have at that studio, they really need to focus all of their energy on sort of their next big project. So yeah, that made all the sense in the world to me. But yeah, continue.
Yeah. So I mean, well, real quick, or what's right here? Sorry, I had to bring it up on my phone. Wayheck says, "I love your piece on Slide 2 on Lognet, Jay." So
Oh, thanks, man.
shout out to your written piece on Slide 2 and your commemoration. I remember reading that. I had to actually bookmark in my list. It was a good read. But yeah, man, I mean, to your point, yeah, I feel like it made sense. Again, it made sense for them wanting to focus all their one things, and the fact that they are such a small studio, like you mentioned, just cements that fact. But it really is baffling that even we're not even getting like a collection on PS5 or something like that, or something along those natures. Like, even if we don't get a new game, even Pixel is what was rumored to be and is actually debunked right now, that they're not working on a new Sly game or a new Infamous game is in the works, or the case may be. Even if that stuff wasn't happening, I'll be fine with. I would just love a repackage on PS5 at the very least at this point, especially if Infamous 1 and 2 in the Sly trilogy. Right now, you can play them through PS Now through streaming, but so your experience with PS Now was not good.
Yeah, yeah.
And the thing is, I'm sub to the PS Plus, like the actual like premium tier. I have not tried out streaming yet, um, but I don't really have that much confidence that it'll be good. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, I don't know. To be honest, I wish we were getting a repackage at the very least. And I even told Andrew Gofar this too. I think he's like a social media head at Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even mentioned in the tweet, I was like, hey man, that's cool, but at least like some like remasters or something like that on PS5 would be really cool just for fans, like longtime fans like myself and you, just to like have a way to play these games without meaning to old hardware or for streaming services or the case may be. And he actually liked the tweet, so hopefully that message gets across and maybe something could be in the works where they fund like a project for a remaster or something like that.
Yeah. And like the thing is that like, and I feel like I don't know how you feel about this, but I know for me, and I've been like beating this drum for a while on the podcast, is that like I don't want, maybe I'm on multiple minds of this because like I don't want a Sly 5. Um because the way I don't acknowledge Sly 4, but like I don't know, like a continuation like that series ended so perfectly. Like Sly Cooper and me is such like the embodiment of like you like ending off a story before you get a little too greedy and retroactively just continue it for the sake of continuing it, like continuing a story when it does not need to be continued. I feel the same way about Halo, like that should have ended at Halo 3, but with Sly Cooper, like that series ended perfectly with Sly 3. It should have never been picked up again with Sly 4 because I feel like Sly 4 ruined like those characters and all that stuff. And so my thing is that like I don't want a Sly 5 because I don't want to see like the Sly 4 sort of style be continued. So like I was championing, like I'm way more down for like remakes of the original trilogy. Like that sounds music to my ears. But at the same time, like if Sucker Punch was to come back to do a if Sucker Punch did Sly 5 themselves instead of a external studio, I may be more open to that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's for Sly. Like I'm more in favor of remakes instead of like new entries in that series. That series should have ended with Sly 3. With Infamous on the other hand, I think the really cool thing about that series is that, and they proved it with Second Son, is that you don't need to rely on Cole McGrath. There's
True.
conduits all over the world that you can go to. I mean, in Infamous 2, they introduced Nyx, and they had that one character, that girl with the ice powers, I believe, too, on top of already meeting Cole. And then obviously in Second Son, you have people like Fetch and Eugene. So like the cool thing about Infamous is that, yeah, you don't have to keep going back to the well with the same characters, that you can keep introducing. Like what does a conduit look like in Japan in terms of powers and backstory and stuff like that? Or what do the conduits in, I don't know, in Mexico look like, or something? Like, you can truly go do whatever you want with that franchise, I feel like. So that's why I'm more kind of open to the idea of a continuation of Infamous, and why that always made sense to me. Because I don't know, that universe just feels way more. It's not like a Jack and Daxter or a Ratchet and Clank or a Sly, where like literally those characters' names are on the box art, right? So you kind
Yeah.
of always have to involve those characters. But yeah, the cool thing with Infamous is that like that universe is so expansive that you really could jump around and kind of like focus on whoever you want, really. Um, so that's why, to me, the fact that there's no studio working on that franchise, where it just feels like it's so ripe for stories, is disappointing to me. How do you feel about Infamous specifically?
Yeah, that was the one thing that, again, I just want to go back to Infamous 2, just on new modern hardware, just because that whole story of Cole McGrath in general, it's just
Yeah.
really interesting. I could think it really serve, especially for now, especially for new players too. Like, I think it's the thing is, Infamous 2 was like so revolutionary what it did for like having like multiple powers like in its environment and the characters and how you choose a story. Like, it was so much fun. I don't
and
know
and
understand
people
why they don't want to revisit that. Not just in the new game, but just like in the package in general, just to kind of celebrate it again. You know?
and people, I feel like they always talk about, like, oh, like the jump from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2, or Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 2. And I'm like, guys, look at Infamous 1 to Infamous 2. Like, Infamous 2 is a fucking great game, dude, compared to the first one. I mean, like, the first one is good as well, but like Infamous 2 is just such a step up in like literally every department, man.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. It's still one of my favorites of all time. So I just wish that Sucker Punch. Again, I get it, but I really hope that Sony just reach into their bag, and there are other studios that they want to work on for like ports or remasters or whatever the case may be, and just go ham on these games, especially for those in general. I think it'd be really beneficial to them, especially since they have their whole service now. Like, one of the things that they're gonna be looking for is content, not just in live service, but in single player stuff too. It wouldn't hurt to have like something like from their catalog that that was really beloved, especially I mean, the infamous games, Sly Cooper games, even the Ratchet and Clank games, man. We don't have access to those games essentially on PS4/PS5 without streaming. So we should be getting that too, you know. But
And like I feel like the big question is like, and it makes total sense why Sucker Punch like isn't working on those franchises. I'm not even like questioning that angle of it, but like the big question is, and I'm sure Sony has asked themselves this question too, but like, who who is like a good fit for those franchises? I'm sure you could think of like some for Sly Cooper, but like for Infamous, like who do you even like realistically, as a third party partner, like who do you realistically get to work on those games?
right.
Like I don't know if there's a lot of people who fit that bill. And we go back to to Sly 4. Like they got Sanzuru Games to work on Sly 4, and that, for all intents and purposes, like, sure, it was like, I guess it was fine, but like it didn't work for a lot of people. And I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I feel like that game kind of killed the franchise. Like we haven't seen
No,
anything since.
that's hyperbolic.
Nah,
that's
it
that's
totally did,
hyperbolic.
man.
You're getting your emotions a little bit too much. That game is a good game. That game is a fun PlayStation game, especially a good Sly Cooper game. It's fun for what it is. Whether your story stuff is definitely more on the opinion side. I feel like you're more in that camp where it feels like it kind of ruined the characters a little bit more, and I don't think you're wrong for that. Or it didn't really bother me that much when I played it. I think I went into it and people were like, I guess fans were like more upset than usual. But the thing is, like, fans are upset about every little damn thing, so you can't really please everybody.
Bro, they made my boy Sly a dick. They made Murray
Newsflash: he's a kleptomaniac raccoon. He's been a dick, man. Come on now.
No, he's cool. He's
He's
charming,
cool.
dude. Yes, he's charming, man. Oh, he's not supposed to be a dick. And then Murray, they did the cardinal sin of like, oh, he's a fat character, so let's make him obsessed and with food and talk about food and eating all the time and him being hungry all the time and stuff like that. Like that character, like if you look at him and you know this, man, like if you look at that character in Sly 2 and Sly 3, like the shit that Murray specifically was going through with what happened to Bentley and all that stuff, and Murray kind of going on this walkabout journey, with the Guru and stuff like that, like that character is a lot deeper than people give him credit for. And then Sly 4 comes around and he's like, oh no, I love food. So, you know what I mean? So like,
well, I know you definitely have a point. You definitely have a point. I think it's because you mentioned it before, right? Where like they Sly 3 ended so perfectly. Like they had these characters in a way that their character arcs were kind of like it feels finished, right?
Yeah.
And that's where 4 comes in. It was like, well, how can we make this character even more in depth? And they decided to, well, let's play into the stereotypes. Because I think
Right.
the biggest thing about Sly 5, right, was the gameplay. The gameplay was much more improved, and there's a lot more to do in that game than any other Sly game you could. So I think that was the biggest focus, and the story definitely took a hit for that. And it feels like, time travel was also kind of just like an easy thing to do and have stuff not make sense if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to a game in time travel, it's always messy. Like it's rarely a game that really takes it like in a good direction.
I like the premise. I like the premise a lot.
Right? Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
'Cause especially like all these the answers that you've been hearing about for the past games, and you actually get to like go on missions with them. Like, that's freaking cool, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, again, it's a whole like doing the characters right kind of thing, and I agree with you. But I don't think it ruined this series, man. I think I think it definitely put like a black spot on the characters, especially after 3 and with Penelope.
Yeah.
But in regards to gameplay, I think it's one of like the best. It's up there.
Man, don't get me started on Penelope and her being the fucking villain, man.
Yeah, I know. You get so mad, and I understand it.
Yeah. But yeah, man, I do feel like that is the big question. Is like realistically, like who do you get to work on these franchises? And
Right.
again, I just don't know if there's many teams out there that really fit that bill. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I understand why people are upset and actually I don't. So this kind of ties into what we'll talk about with God of War, but like I really want to get your thoughts on this because with both the God of War stuff and now the Sly and inFamous things that happened this past week, I kind of had this epiphany. We as a community have to do better with these quote unquote insiders and leaks that we see on Reset Era. I have to do better because I feel like I was really the one, like I wanted to believe this so much that I feel like I was really the one trying to convince not only myself but you guys as well that like, oh, this is happening. This guy Special Nick on Reset Era, he's gotten, a couple things right, with leaks and things like that. He could totally be trustworthy. So first of all, I'm sorry about that I was really championing this and trying to convince you guys that
I was losing sleep over this.
So yeah, I definitely apologize about that. But yeah, I just think we need to do better about not like taking everything that is supposedly leaked and rumored with the biggest possible grain of salt and not taking them as gospel, because I think a lot of people did that with Sly and Infamous, because we had been hearing about this for what, the better part of a year. I want to say that, like, oh, Sony is planning to do something with Sly and Infamous.
Yeah.
The Sly announcement is coming in the second half of 2022, guys, get ready. um and then the thing is that, like, people have been, this anticipation has been building and building and building for all this time, for the better part of a year. And then when it gets, nipped in the bud as and proven that, hey, we're not working on these at all, people people are looking to assign blame, and for whatever reason they assign the blame to the developers instead of the idiots who are quote unquote insiders. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I don't know, man. I just feel like we gotta be better at just like look at everything like with a skeptical lens, man. We just can't be like taking everything that we see on the internet as gospel, unless the actual developers are saying, these things. We shouldn't be taking anyone else's word for these kind of things. Like, we should only be trusting like the developers. Like, once it comes from the like directly from the horse's mouth, that's how we know that it's true. Otherwise, I'm not going to believe in anything anymore. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because it ties in the God of War thing. Um, but yeah, how do you feel about, just leaks in general, and this with leaks and insiders and kind of thing.
Yeah, this era of leaks on the internet is running rampant, man. People just want the clout, or they actually have some form of access to these files. And again, I would like to apologize too, because I shared Snitch's gif of God of War to you guys, and you were specifically like, "Hey man, I want to be spoiled." I'm like, "Ah man, you're probably right, because this guy's been pretty on point." And it
Yeah.
turns out that from what people are finding out, that he had access to unlisted YouTube videos, which is why he knew what he knew
Mm,
beforehand. So,
interesting.
so that's why he called, like, he didn't call it, right. He didn't say what it was. He just pointed out hints of, like, hey, this might be happening. Which, one of the things that they did was I think the state of play. Like, he leaked the list of state of play with Final Fantasy 16 and Resident Evil 4 and RE8 VR, all that stuff beforehand, apparently. And it's because he had the access to the unlisted YouTube, which makes sense. Same thing with the Crisis Core. And I probably saw something for PlayStation's God of War Ragnarok and was like, oh man, did that binary code 11110 or whatever it was, which
Yeah, yeah,
apparently means 30. So people were saying, oh, June 30th, and they get an announcement. And lo and behold, nothing really happened, because I think
yeah.
people got wind of it, and that took the sales out of a lot of things. And this era of leaks is just, I'm glad that developers. I'm really glad what Sony Santa Monica did, and not review anything, because now it's really up in the air what's going to happen. We're not expecting
Mm,
anything anymore. And this era of leaks is like, really, like, we're expecting everything all the time. It gets leaked and it ruins the surprise, and I'm kind of over it. You know,
yeah,
any person that claims that they're a leaker or they're an insider, I just end up muting them at this point,
yeah,
or straight up blocking them, because I don't want to see their stuff at all. Like, I actually want to be surprised and having those genuine reactions, right? Like, for me, I was doubting that Crisis Core remaster / remake was going to be a thing anyways. So the reaction you saw on this channel was a genuine reaction. I really believe that was never going to happen. So that to me was like no surprise. I wasn't in forums, I wasn't in spaces talking about it, because I didn't want to get my hopes up. But for something like God of War, man, this one took the cake, I'll say, for this past week, for sure.
yeah. And once again, like, I guess just my ultimate like word of advice to people who are getting upset over this, like, once again, just like, unless it's from the like directly from the horse's mouth, don't believe anything that you see online. Like, and that's like pure and simple. That's as easy as I can make that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean,
lesson,
leaks ruined my Last of Us 2 experience.
yeah,
100%.
and a lot of that was proven like not true.
Yeah, yeah. But
You remember?
even then, the stuff that was true, like it's still it made that game not less in my eyes, but it wasn't as enjoyable when I actually played it for myself.
Yeah, but
Like, yeah,
you remember like there was a big, uproar because apparently Abby was trans, and then apparently
yeah,
there was a
dude.
cult. There was a cult that was like against like what was it, like queer people or Christianity or something like that. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I do remember that. Yeah, how the wisp was not the whisperers,
the scars.
the scars. Yeah, how they were like a religious cult or whatever, and yeah, that was yeah. People were in their weird bag with that, man. They really wanted to bring down Naughty Dog for whatever reason.
Yeah. So yeah, man, that's the whole Sly and Infamous thing. I feel like if anything at all, this is giving me clarity. Like in a way, I'm glad that they came out and like dispelled these rumors because like even going back to PlayStation Showcase last year, like if you remember that Spider-Man 2 reveal, the beginning of that trailer, like it's like a very low voice talking. It kind of sounded like Cole, and then you see the lightning going up one of
Yeah,
the like street lamps. I
yeah,
my heart was beating. I was like, is this infamous? Right?
yeah. I
So
know it's the
like
same way. Yeah,
so like at the very least, I'm glad that like okay, for the next showcase, we don't have to be like on the edge of our seat waiting for something that's clearly not going to happen anymore.
yeah.
So I'm glad that we got that. I'm also glad that now we know not to special Nick, not to not to listen to him anymore. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So I gotta call him out because he was really beating that drum, man. Apparently Jeff Grubb was also beating that drum as that drum as well. So,
Yikes.
I'm looking at him with a side eye as well right now. Um,
Oh man, you follow a lot of leakers. What's going on here? Mm.
for God of War Ragnarok, and they're having a state of play announcement on the 30th. And then, lo and
Ooh.
behold, Santa Monica came out and said nothing's happening on that day. This man literally made a tweet. He was like at PlayStation. Come on, guys, really?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I
and
did
I'm
see
like,
that.
and everyone in the comments is just like cooking this man, dude.
I don't
Like
know, man.
absolutely.
That dude kind of came off as like a fake insider. I kind of, yeah. I don't
But
know.
like he's been like exposed as a fake insider who doesn't know anything for like months now, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
like
kind of like one
this
time.
yeah. I mean, Wonton didn't even have like a start, right? You know, um, but yeah, people knew that this guy like for months now. This guy didn't know what he was talking about, and like I really hope that this was like the nail in the coffin for him because even like the last state of play with him getting things wrong. Like there were still people in his comments like, oh, it's okay, man. We still believe
We'll
you.
get him next
Even
time.
Right? Even with Jeff Keighley coming in in that guy's comments and saying, "Oh, better luck next time," because Robert was like, "God of War is gonna be at Summer Games Fest," and it wasn't in there. Jeff Keighley was like, "Oh, better luck next time."
Oh man, that dude's had a bad past couple of months, man.
Yeah, man, and he
Yeesh.
had the audacity to blame PlayStation for him for him not knowing anything. Like, come on, man. Um, yeah.
But
So
again, that's why I love this energy of PlayStation and Sony Santa Monica. Where who knows? Maybe they did have something on the 30th, right? Maybe they did have like this big blowout of God of War Ragnarok with the release date, the collector's editions, all that jazz, right? They
yeah,
saw Twitter, which shows that they're listening. First of all, they saw Twitter and was like, "Nope, not gonna do it." I kind of
yeah,
respect that, man. I kind of respect that.
maybe, man, maybe. Um, but yeah, man, I guess that's it for Sly and Infamous. It does suck, but at the same time, like again, like I feel like Sucker Punch, like if anyone is mad at them, like come on, like they, and this ties back into Santa Monica. Like both of these teams have said nothing to make us believe that Sly and Infamous were even being worked on, or that
Yeah.
for God of War that something was happening on June 30th. Like none of these teams have said anything. You know, this was all just purely speculation on the people's part, on our part.
Especially with
Uh,
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart having like those PlayStation cameos with Sly Cooper and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
so
We
yeah,
we,
like
we took it
it was
we took it the extra mile because we were excited. But
yeah, it was purely fans just creating things out of nothing. Um, so again, like there's no reason for people to be mad at both of these teams when they have literally done nothing to warrant the speculation in the first place. So,
right.
you know, these teams have been quiet. They have said like nothing about these things. So yeah. Um yeah, so that's Sly and Infamous. Uh this goes directly into the whole God of War fiasco this past week.
Oh
Um
man, this one. I was
Mosh,
wondering if
I
this
don't
was
know.
going to be a topic, to be honest.
Yeah, we had to talk about this. We had to talk about this. Um, I don't know about you, man, but like I have never seen anything like this in like the gaming community. Like, how about you? Do you remember anything like this happening?
I mean, as far as like dev harassment and stuff like this, where it's just like,
Over over something as dumb as a release date, and then like yeah, go ahead.
oh man, no man, not even the Final Fantasy VII fandom. I mean, the Final Fantasy VII fandom is pretty wild, especially with their like takes on like who should be with who what character should be with what character. They're pretty like hardcore that kind of stuff and really bad.
Yeah.
But most of that fan base is just really horny. Uh, it's mostly for characters in the game, not for devs of the game. That we're seeing like these random Twitter people for devs at Sony Santa Monica, which is just like so fucking weird. But I've never seen this kind of obsession over a release date for a game that I think of. No, I can't think of any.
Yeah. So, let's see, and you may need to help me out with this, but
Yeah, what's
so
up?
essentially this past week, actually I want to say for like maybe the middle of June, we've been hearing rumblings of something happening on June 30th. Or even before that, right? I think even Jason Schreier got into it a little bit, saying that like something was happening at the end of the month with that he's heard that something's happening at the end of this month with God of War.
Yeah. Which
And I
makes
think
sense
Tom Henry.
because of the whole like we were talking about with Gene before of like the marketing rollout and if they don't announce anything by the end of June, then maybe God of War is getting delayed. So like we're kind of like setting ourselves up for that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think even Tom Henderson, was talking about this too, about something happening at the end of the month. Um, yeah. So that's really where it started. So obviously for like I want to say about like 2 weeks into the month, or like after that month, it's just kind of been like this slow like buildup of anticipation of people, anticipating something God of War related finally coming, right? People have been waiting since September of last year. They've been quiet for the better part of what, like 8 or 9 months, I want to say. So people are getting antsy, and then they hear rumblings that something's happening in June, and now they're getting excited. They're getting excited for the prospect of God of War finally kind of coming out of the shadows and showing new gameplay, having a state of play, having a release date, right? So yeah, it's all of this anticipation. It's all of this build up, weeks and weeks of build up and anticipation. Um, so that's sort of like the context, and then we kind of get closer to that June 30th date, and you even like before the 30th and like before the 29th, we start seeing some developers, specifically women at Santa Monica, talking about um, how people are coming into their DMs and asking about like the release date and things like that. Um, so again, people are getting really antsy, And then I think I want to say, and you remind me, but like a few days before the 30th, I think Corey comes out and says like squashes that rumor that like no, like nothing's happening like tomorrow or something along those lines, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's around there. He's definitely been on the ball when it comes to like what people are saying. So
Right. So yeah, there's that. He comes out and squashes it, and then this like total like hysteria because people have been again fabricating things that don't exist in their mind for weeks now, and then the moment when they're told that they have been excited and have been anticipating that they've been excited for nothing, the moment they've been told that, they get mad. They want to assign blame because they've been creating stories in their head, and when it amounts to nothing, they want to assign blame to somewhere. And of course, they're going to assign that blame to the development team, who, again, just like Sucker Punch, have said nothing to make people believe that anything was happening on the 30th in the first place. They want to assign blame to them instead of assigning blame to these supposed leakers who got the ball rolling in the first place with all of this nonsense. Um, so yeah, I don't know. My mind is all over the place with this. Um, I'll start with the fact that, like, first of all, to these I was about to use some choice words, but let's let's call them like these losers. Let's just say that.
as what they are. So yes, continue.
Yes, these losers who have certainly do not know the gentle caress of a woman in their entire life. Who have never seen a woman naked in their entire
Oh
life.
man, I called them out. Oh god.
Do you, and I was talking to them directly, do you honestly, like, look at yourself in the mirror, do you honestly believe that if you jump into the development team's DMs and you ask them nicely, please, please, I've been such a big fan of God of War all my life. Can you please tell me the release date? No matter how much you beg, no matter how much you ask, Mr. Twitter user number 27 with 15 followers on your account, do you truly believe that people who have been working 4 years on a project would just out of the blue, because you asked them nicely, will give you something as intimate as a release date just because you asked nicely? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Why the fuck would they do that? And like I saw, and Corey like responded to one of these people, but like on Twitter the other day, like one person was like, hey Corey, like you don't have to tell me the release date, but can you please tell me something that I don't know about God of War Ragnarok? You could be as vague as you want. I'll figure it out. Yeah. Like he tweeted Corey that, and I'm like, what? Like,
To see that.
yeah. I'm like guys, calm the fuck down. Like
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I just don't know. Like these people are like grown men. They're grown men.
I don't get it, dog. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to stay away from Twitter as much as I can now because after this whole week, I was like, all right, dog. Like the thing, I was already starting like my Twitter purge like the past couple of weeks, and this week especially. But after this, yeah, man, I don't know what's the point anymore. It seems like a lot of people just want the clout. They just like I love reaching. That one reason why I love Twitter because I can actually talk to devs, right? I have the moment where I can actually comment on their work or to have some form of interaction with them to let them know like, hey, I love your stuff. You're doing great. You're doing a great job. And some of them recognize it, others don't. Whatever the case may be. But the point is like I have that interaction with them. That's what makes Twitter really cool. People take it to a whole new fucking direction with they just want to exploit, right? They just want the clout. They just want people. They just want a response. And so like reaching out to devs or sending them weird pictures online just for a release date of a game seems like it's not even seems like it is. It's a stretch and it's mental illness, man. They shouldn't be on the internet.
And touching on that, probably shouldn't say touching on that, but speaking on that point specifically.
Yes, I understand where you're going.
but oh man, I was about to say bouncing off that point. Let me not say that one either. But but continuing off of that point,
Yes.
like to these absolute fucking losers, do you honestly believe that if you send, these developers unsolicited pictures of yourself to them, that they're just gonna be so impressed by your pictures that they're gonna be like, wow, you know what? Yeah, you do deserve to know the release of God of War Ragnarok. I just cannot fathom the line of thinking with with that action specifically. I cannot even begin to place myself in the person's shoes who truly believe that that was a good idea, or that would in some form or faction, like sway these developers into being like, oh yeah, you know what, sure, yeah, here's the release date. Like I just don't understand like it is truly insanity, dude. It truly is.
Dude, it's. I think it really just comes. I don't know, man. I don't want to give these people any sort of excuse to their actions whatsoever because a lot of them are just dumb and stupid. Like that's just a fact. Others are just like completely misguided, like how they interact with people, and that just bleeds into social media. But to think that to think that it was like an amazing idea to send a dick pic to a developer
Yeah.
just for whatever reason that you want to know more information on God War Ragnarok. Like that's like I don't know, man. You just shouldn't be online at that point. Like who's your parent, who's your guardian, and who's looking at your
It's
stuff because they're not looking at it
it
enough.
it's like absolutely fucking disgusting, and it makes me like ashamed to even like be a part of this community when I hear shit like that. Um,
Facts,
and
facts.
it kind of goes into this idea of like the community is constantly asking for developers to be, oh, we want more transparency from you guys and blah blah blah, but then shit like this happens, and I completely understand why developers don't go aren't on Twitter, or they don't talk about what they're working on,
Yep.
or you're someone like Cory Barlog who takes goddamn 4 months off of Twitter,
Yeah, and he
there's
comes
this
back and
there
he still gets shit, man.
and like this
It's
I follow
ridiculous.
this previous Naughty Dog dev. She was at the studio for like 10 years or something like that, and I think she just left within like the last year or something like that. She's done great work at that studio. She's really cool, and she tweeted when this stuff was happening. She was like, "Yeah, when I was at Naughty Dog for 10 years, like this is specifically the reason why I didn't talk about like my work and things like that, and why my Twitter account is pretty much just a Resident Evil fan page, right? It's pretty much because of shit like this, and like I get it, I totally get it.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I can't blame them.
Especially if you're a woman in this industry, right? Like
Yeah,
this is like rampant. It's to a point where it's absolutely freaking disgusting. What you see and what happens.
yeah, um, yeah. I just I don't know, man. It was like a really and like Corey, he talked about just like these are these are people literally making the things that we love, right? And like I feel like it's just like the decent human being kind of thing to do, to treat the people that are creating the things that we love with some respect. I don't that maybe that's just me, but
No,
but
I'm the same way. I'm the exact same
yeah,
way, which is why like I wouldn't hold these developers on a pedestal, right? But I would have
yeah,
some form of like celebrity like starstruck if I were to meet them, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, but the thing is, like, I have the decency and respect to know that, hey, they're people too. You know,
exactly.
they have lives and they a lot of them are just shy in general. Which is why when I saw like Yoga Shimomura, who's like the composer for Kingdom Hearts, when I went to the Kingdom Hearts concert, I saw her on the street and I freaked the fuck out. But I was with my friends at the time, and I didn't. I freaked out just to myself. I was like, "Oh my god, there she is! She's right there! She's right there!"
Yeah,
But the thing is, like, I didn't like run up to her and be like, "Can I get a picture? Can I get this? I'm such a big fan!" Like, no, like she was doing her own thing. She was walking down the street. She just wanted to get to the stadium and chill out for a little bit before the concert. You know, like,
yeah,
and a lot of people just don't have that mentality now. And when it comes to when it comes to the developer, I just have that form of respect for them that they are their own people and that again, like anyone else, they probably just want to be left alone, or when they interact with people and they enjoy that spotlight with their fans, then they want to make sure that it's in a safe way and it's actually in a fun way and not anything hostile. Because there's one thing we learned, man. These people can be really like cruel, especially developers.
Yeah. And like we kind of talked about this last week with the whole Roe v. Wade stuff. But like these developers are they're human beings, man. They're living, breathing human beings. They're not machines working in the coal mines or in a conveyor belt or something like that. Like they're real people with thoughts, opinions, and emotions and things like that. And I feel like we should treat them as such. So
Yeah, man.
just treating them as a means to an end, or as they are solely kind of the vehicle that gets us the things that we want is fucking wrong, man. It's fucking wrong.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that the past couple of years, and it's for people that just don't know better, or they just don't have the decency, which is like it's so baffling to me. Like again, like I wonder where like the respect is for some developers. I get like not having some form of respect for publishers, right? Like EA,
Yeah.
or when they want to pull off like some scummy shit with you, because what at the end of the day, what they really want to do is just to make money. But for developers, the people that are making the stuff, that want the stuff to be really cool and just want to like enjoy that with other people, like that's what it's all about. That's what gaming's been all about. So why not show that same people the respect for the people that are making this stuff? Like I don't know, man. It again just baffles me that a lot of people will get more of this. Developers will get more shit than the actual like big wigs, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was just like it was just a fucking weird week, man. Like what a weird week. And then like I just don't understand. Like this game was announced in 2021, right? Or 20, was it 2020? I think it was 2020 that it was announced.
It was announced at the same PlayStation 5 event, I think, right?
It was the September showcase that was the one that revealed Final Fantasy 16 for the first time.
Right.
So yeah, that was September 2020, I want to say. But the point is that like, so yeah, it hasn't even been 2 years yet. It will be 2 years in September of this year.
Yeah.
So we've known about this game for like a year, about like a year and a half, a little over a year and a half now. And like, I'm just like, there's nothing wrong with being patient, man. Like we've been patient for all of this time. Like, what's wrong with like if we have to wait another week, another month, another 2 months? Who cares, man? Like we've been patient for a year and a half. What's an extra month or 2 months on top of that? You know what I mean? Like, just be patient. They will tell us when they're ready. When they have
Yep.
something to say, they will say it. Until then, like, just be patient. That's really all that I can say. Like, I don't. Again, like, it was just so weird. Like, I've never seen anything like this, where over a release date, man, over a goddamn release date. Like, this is all a game that you guys are gonna play anyway. So why do you need to know the release date so bad? Like, what's gonna happen is that like they'll tell us we'll know the release date at the end of the trailer or something like that. Everyone's like, okay, cool, yeah. Yeah, day
And
one,
they
cool.
go on their merry way. Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
I
That's
know.
it. Yes. That's it.
Yeah,
So,
it's
like,
I think that again, this is more seems about like clout for points of what's coming out in 2022 more than anything. Talking points, right? Like IGN's got to get in their bag, the Twitter guys got to get in their bag. But continue.
no, like, I mean, that's really all I have to say. Like, I don't understand. It's such a small, like, little petty thing for something that, like, does the release date even like matter that much to warrant all of this bullshit? Because this is all something you guys are gonna play day one. So like, if this game was coming out in November 2022, or if it was coming out in November 2024, you guys know you're gonna play it anyway. So like, why are you guys dying to know this so much? Like, I don't understand, dude.
Yeah, no, it's for me. It's like it's again. It'll come when it comes. You know what I mean? So like, especially with stuff with the games that I was really excited for. And for me, it's like I have games I could play too, man. Like I know people in this community play games. I know they can, I know they have the backlog. I know they have other stuff they can play. That you don't need to look forward to every new thing every time. I think people are just really anticipating this game because it's following up as like one of the greatest games of the past generation, which is fair. But at the same time, like, why not give it the time that it needs to really be something great and to be something that like really worth exciting about? And that anticipation is almost as exciting as like the game releasing, anyways, or like knowing the release date in general. So I understand why people
Yeah.
can't just really enjoy that. You know what I mean? Like the anticipation and the mystery of not knowing is exciting and it's fun, and we can just speculate and all these kind of things. But it goes really too far when people are really obsessive about it, and they want to know every little thing about the game before it releases. Like you don't need to know about every little thing. It's worthwhile because you know you're making an informed decision on your purchases and stuff like that. But if you're really excited in the first place, it'll come out when it comes out, and you can look forward to that. You know, again, that part is as exciting to me as getting the game in my hands and playing it, because
And like,
you know. So
yeah, yeah, and like the funny thing is too is that like, like knowing the release date isn't gonna make the game come out quicker. Like,
nope.
you're still guess what? Once you know the release date, guess what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to wait. So like,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
Like I get more excited about seeing the game than even like knowing the release date, so to speak. And I guess I kind of like it's. I'm a little hypocritical because I saw more of Silk Song, right? But then my immediate thing was like, all right, but where is it? Like, when is it coming out? I mean, and my
yeah,
reaction to that was specifically because Silk Song has been a project's been in development for quite a long time, and everyone's been waiting. So the next thing I want to know is when it is coming out. But I'm not up Team Cherry's ass, wondering where this game is. Like, it'll come out when it comes out,
yeah, for
and
sure.
I feel like the wait for Ragnarok was a lot less at this point. And even then, they went through COVID. They had a lot of things they had to deal with for this game
Right?
to ship out when it shipped out. And
And like
I feel like
to that
yeah.
point, and like to that point, like isn't that crazy? Like just comparing Ragnarok to 2018, like that game was announced in 2016, and you know we had to wait, or even something like Last of Us Part Two, like comparing that, like that game was announced in 2016, and then it came out in 2020. Like be grateful that it isn't a situation like that. Like the wait from release to or from the announcement to release has been relatively short, which I think is rare, you know, nowadays. You
Yep.
know, with especially with how far in advance games are announced. So like be grateful that we didn't have to wait like fucking 3 years for this game, you know, that it's coming out like relatively soon after it was announced. So like, yeah, I don't know, man. So I wanted to bring up this tweet from Captain Kuba on Twitter, who's like a big God of War fan, and like when he tweeted this out, like I was like, fuck, man, like yeah, like he's absolutely right. So he said that like to the God of War fans that you guys are investing so much into this unreleased game that if Santa Monica does something in the story that you don't agree with, it's going to break you mentally. And like I agree. I'm scared for when this game comes out because people are putting so much like I feel like they're revolving their entire lives around this, and like they're putting so much into themselves just about this fucking release date that like yeah I do agree that I feel like once this game comes out like the anticipation and the hype is getting like almost cyberpunk levels, and like I
Almost.
feel like if if like Godspeed if Kratos were to die in this game, Godspeed to all those developers at Santa Monica, because that is something that they will not recover from.
Yeah.
Like almost like I almost feel like this is gonna be another Last of Us situation, man. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm nervous for when this game comes out. Like I feel like it's just in one way or another it's gonna be torn apart for like the smallest things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, we already saw before with one of the characters. What was her name? You know more about this about the lore and stuff like that than I do. But one of the characters that was gosh, she was revealed at the end of the last trailer.
Oh, Angra Boda.
Angra Boda, yeah. when she's revealed to just be the character, like be a black woman, and people were
Yeah.
flipping out over that. Like that was, again, it was one of those things. Like it was one of those things in the gaming community where you're just like, why are you guys like this?
Or even or being being a little big boy, you know?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The character, yeah, when it was yeah. Again, I just don't get it, man. I really don't get it, and I feel like again we're gonna realm into this. We're getting to the realm of Last of Us 2, where people are just gonna be absolutely vitriolic with like the change in like the story and the characters, whatever the case may be, and it's not gonna be good, man. Like it honestly makes me really scared for like those developers, of what's gonna happen that week, and I really hope that the positivity outweighs all the negativity because it's going to happen, right? The negative comments are going to happen. The crazy stuff is going to be out there. But I really hope the positivity around the game just completely drowns it out, and people don't give attention to those tweets either because that's the one thing that I see more than anything. People love to quote tweet to dunk on dumb people. Just don't quote tweet at all, man. Just scroll by. You know, if it
Yeah,
you
that
know if it don't what's the term if it don't apply, uh, I forgot the
don't
term.
reply or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, if you don't apply, just let it fly. Yeah, that's exactly that's the term. If it don't apply, let it fly. It's just if you just don't interact with it. That's the thing. I've seen way too many hot takes this week that I could have quoted you like, "Wow, this is a stupid argument. This is a stupid point," but I'm not even gonna bother because why do that? You know.
Yeah,
And it said tweet about the negativity. Tweet about the positivity. Excuse me, and the stuff that you love. That's it. Keep it moving. We need
yeah,
more of
for
that.
sure. And like I do, and like to your earlier point, like I do hope that like, and I think they do know that this is like such a minuscule, small portion of the community, albeit a very vocal one, but they're a very small percentage of the community. It sucks that they even exist, and I hate that they do, but like I, my hope is that like the vast majority of the community is loving and supporting it and actually respectful to the devs, and I think they do know that, but it just sucks that that this week it was like the polar opposite, that the major voice that they were hearing was from that you know the fucking that crowd that is just full of absolute fucking losers.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's unfortunate, and then that like that also ties to, I don't know if you saw the Monkey Island stuff,
Yeah, I did see
but
that. Yeah.
yeah, so like that director, he said he's no longer going to talk about his game like on social media because of online abuse. It's like,
I didn't
and
think the love for
so
Monkey Island was that strong, man.
so
I'll be real.
and, and like there's this one quote that like really hit me hard, that he said in his sort of like announcement or whatever. But he said, quote unquote, "The joy of sharing has been driven from me." That fucking sucks, man. Like, can you imagine that? Like
Yeah.
something that you've worked years and years on, that you're super proud of, and you've gotten to a point where like you just don't even care about sharing it or getting on the rooftops and like screaming from the rooftops and talking about it, just because like you're immediately going to be hit with online abuse the moment that you start talking about it, or the moment that you even start showing a little bit of pride in your work. Like that fucking sucks, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially something that you're so close with. Yeah. I know. It's sad, honestly.
Yeah. Um. So, I mean, I guess we could put a pretty little a bow on that conversation, man. Because um, yeah, I don't know, man. It was just a really gross week, to be honest, man. Like it. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, just like the way that it just like it was definitely like bubbling like under the surface for a while, but the way that it just all came at once, like a goddamn hurricane, just like all in one fell swoop. Like I don't know, it was shocking, but in some ways it wasn't shocking at the same time. But
Yeah.
it was just really gross, man. And like I implore people to just be fucking respectful of the people that create the things that we love. Like simple as that, man.
Yeah. Yeah. There should be no need for Sony Santa Monica to release like a Twitter statement like they'd done
Yeah.
before. Um, just the past day. I shared that too with you guys yesterday. I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's really no need for it. There's really no need for this kind of negative and vitriolic and absolutely insane behavior. And I think as a community, we should do better about uplifting or positive voices more than downplaying the negative voices.
Yeah.
I mean that in the sense of giving attention, not essentially like minimizing the negative stuff, but just stop giving a ton of attention to those negative stuff, because while it is important to address it and to be like, hey, this is not right. A lot of stuff gets a lot more traction and it gets a lot more talk than the positive stuff. It seems like. And I guess we're kind of contradictory a little bit because we're talking about it here, but it's also the fact that it's our community too. It's a PlayStation community, and we're just saying y'all should know better.
Yeah.
And again, if like sort of the end cap to like my point here is to use your social media for good, man. Use it for positive stuff. And I said I'm trying to make that change more and more now, instead of reacting to like all like the bad stuff. Really just tweeting positive things. I started at Horizon Forbidden West instead of interacting with those Elden Ring versus Horizon posts I kept seeing and kept being very annoyed by earlier in the year. I just kept posting more Horizon stuff because this game is great and the graphics are amazing and the storytelling is awesome and the quests are so layered and intricate, and I love this part and I love the gameplay. Like, there's so many things to love about that game that's all I did about it, instead of just retweeting and arguing with people why it's better than Elden Ring or whatever stupid things like that, man. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter, man. It really doesn't.
Yeah. And also, like, on top of that, like, I feel like, and this will be the last thing I'll say before we move on, but like, I feel like this level of investment into whether it be a game or especially a platform, but specifically a game, whatever the case may be, that like this level of investment, it not only will it lead you to disappointment, but at the same time, it's not healthy, man. It is
Yeah.
not healthy to like literally like to be so desperate to know of something so little as a release date, man. Like, go out, go outside, like jog, touch some grass, go to the park, go to the grocery store, watch a movie, do something, man.
Yeah. Take it
But
from the
like,
Final Fantasy fanatic and King of Kingdom Hearts, man. I love my stuff. I love it. You guys
yeah,
know I don't shut up about it. But I'm not going to like Eric's voice actress DMs being like, "Hey, you did such a great job. Oh, I can't wait for Rebirth." But no, like, leave her the fuck alone, bro. She's
yeah.
doing her own thing. Everyone's doing their own thing. Like, it's
like
okay.
like find other things to like fill in the gaps while you wait. Like, occupy your time with other things. Like, it's just not healthy to
Yeah.
be this invested into something like this. So invested that you're literally sending unsolicited pictures of yourself because you want to know something about the game. Like, it's not fucking healthy, man. So that's the last thing I'll say on this. I hope that those devs have a better week next week. It
Yeah.
was cool seeing some of PlayStation Studios, kind of rally behind Santa Monica and really support them. Um,
For real. Yeah.
and I mean, Naughty Dog, they know this feeling better than anyone, so it was nice seeing them kind of really get behind them as well. Um,
For sure.
but yeah, man, that is for the whole God of War nonsense this past week.
And shout out to Corey Barlog too. That man, he takes the punches, and I give him all the respect for coming back and still fighting the good fight. You know.
Yeah, he's a great. I mean, I think he proved for sure. Like this week, he's a great leader for sure for that team. And I don't know if you saw, um, but one of his tweets, he did and we've known this, but he did kind of confirm again that he is not directing Ragnarok. That's Eric Williams, but he's kind of sort of like the studio director now. So yeah, he's not like, I'm sure he's like overseeing some things here and there on Ragnarok, but he's not working on Ragnarok. So again, that's
Which is smart.
more
I
further
think that's for the
evidence.
best, honestly.
And again, I think that's further evidence that yeah, he is he's working. And I mean, he has said that he is working on something else. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But again,
that's awesome to see that.
I think that's definitely for the best, especially like, with what he went through with his journey with God of War. It must be nice to just sort of have like this creative hand in the mixer, but not be the steer of the ship, so to
Yeah, and
speak.
also Like, and they talked about this in the September showcase last year, but also like it's you want to get like a fresh perspective, um, for in the directorial kind of position, right? Like, um, I don't know. I feel like sometimes it can be good to have one director across, like an entire trilogy or something like that.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
Star Wars is
it's
like so evident of that.
right. And then you kind of have like the opposite of that, where you have J.J. Abrams from one movie, and then Ryan Johnson back to J.J. Abrams, and then nothing feels connected at all. They just feel like three standalone movies. But with God of War, I'm a little bit more trusting that there is definitely an overall vision and goal here. But I'm interested to see in what ways does a Eric Williams directed God of War differ from a Cory Barlog directed God of War, because like they're not going to feel entirely the same, because if Corey was, directing both of them, then they kind of would feel a little bit the same. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to feel different underneath Eric. It could feel different in the bad way, or it could feel different in the good way. So who knows, man?
Yeah, exactly. I
Um,
would say that the creative, like, I'm sure the creative seeds already been planted, and it's just a matter of like, a director's much more than just like how the direction of the game goes and how it's played, stuff like that. It's really more on the leadership role for the entire team.
yeah, yeah,
I think that's more that's definitely important in keeping like that same theme throughout. And then the producer comes in and say like, hey, let's stay on track with like certain things in our schedule, stuff like that. So I
right.
think they'll make a great team, and we'll see the end result with Ragnarok. I think we have nothing to worry about.
Yeah, and Eric Williams has literally been at the studio since God of War 1, so I trust him. So,
Same, same. Yeah,
so yeah,
and real quick, I did love that interaction between Corey and Phil Spencer on
yeah,
Twitter.
yeah.
That was some good energy that I needed to see from this entire situation. So I was happy to see that even Corey Barlow, who says like, yeah, go play Xbox games, go play PC games. I can't wait for this, that, and the third. And then Phil Spencer to come and be like, oh yeah, man, like I can't wait for God of War. Like you guys are doing great stuff. You're a great leader. Like that's the kind of
Yeah,
energy I want to see, man. I love that stuff. We just need more of that in our community.
yeah. So the last thing that we can talk about is EA in the middle of all of this. EA had themselves a bit of a week. Um,
Mm.
I don't know if you saw this.
Oh
um,
man, let's just say that let's just say they went out for a barbecue and they're the ones that got cooked.
yes, sir.
Good, good,
So
good, good. I needed that too.
so um, essentially, was it yesterday or was it Thursday? It was somewhere around that time frame. They tweeted out they are quote unquote they are a 10, but they only like playing single player games.
Yeah, this dumb Twitter trend that I'm seeing. Yeah.
So this got 16.5 thousand quote tweets and
Damn.
31,000 likes.
Damn.
Um,
Jesus
and what?
Christ.
Yeah. So like, what was really crazy is that like you had people like Paul Tassi, like essentially ratio them, and he said, "Understandable, you are unfamiliar with the concept of tens." That hurt. that, that hurt. Um, and then you had Young, yeah, literally bringing up receipts of like games like Anthem, Madden, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Battlefield 2042, showing all of their Metacritics.
Oh
Let's
yikes.
see here, 54, 68, 68, and 68 respectively. Um, and then like the thing that really sucked, and I actually kind of felt bad, was that you actually saw like EA developers, like I don't know if you saw this, but like commenting and quote tweeting this, and just like saying but we're making a single player for you guys right now. and being like, man, this fucking sucks,
This it
So
just
like,
reminded me of that loser in from the South Park episode that was playing World of Warcraft. That character.
yeah,
It just reminded me of that character, and then yeah, he just said that that's like, oh, this sweet Bobby the banger.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was, and like one of the like an environment artist who used to work at Santa Monica, and she literally just went over to work at Respawn, And you know what? Let me see. Let me see if I got what she tweeted. But yeah, it was basically like she saw that tweet and she was like, "Fuck, man," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Let me see if I can get her tweet.
It's wild
You know
stuff,
what?
man. I don't understand the mentality around this one. They did. Sometimes these companies do way too much. Um, we're starting to see it with Radio Shack now being super horny on the timeline.
Yeah,
Shout out to Wendy's, man. Shout out to Wendy's for starting this whole meme culture with social media companies.
yeah. Okay, so she said, guess I'm a 10 and also another 20 for working on a single player game for y'all. So like, yeah, like it sucks, man. Like if you're at Respawn or BioWare, man, like that fucking sucked to see, I bet.
Yeah.
Especially like there was a bunch of shade from past BioWare devs, um, who like specifically like the ones who like went off and created like their own studio. Like I saw some of them that were just like absolutely fucking they said specifically like so fucking tone deaf or just like dragging EA through the mud. There was like one visceral dev who was like talking about how like well you guys shut down my studio things like that. So yeah, it was crazy just seeing like people from all different directions coming at them. I want to ask you, what do you think happened to the person who tweeted that?
Let me tell you, man. I work for a news organization, and we do social media. Social posts go through at least two people, the minimum, before they're
Mhm.
posted. So I have no idea if this is the one solo tweet that someone's like, "Oh, I'm gonna send this out. It's gonna be really good. I want to go part of the meme culture," or whatever the case may be. I don't know, man. But let me just tell you right now, that was a really dumb decision, and and they're probably getting some flack for that.
Yeah,
They're not gonna be fired, but they're
yeah.
they're definitely gonna be like, you need to think twice before you like really indulge like in this meme culture for tweets. Because let me tell you one thing, that was one thing to not tweet. I was completely tone deaf, and you could tell that person probably just started working at EA.
Probably, man. That sucks. That sucks.
You have to be like really tone deaf to like even tweet that. Honestly,
Yeah, for sure. Like you gotta know the company's history, man. Like, come on. Oh, but yeah,
and
man.
that, that's
So
that's 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 and that's so deceiving too, because there's some video game companies that even I apply to. Well, they really want you to know like the company's lineage and history. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so and it makes sense because it comes like with its own culture and its own sort of mood, and
Well, it makes
you know
sense so you can avoid things like this. So
exactly, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Um. So yeah, man. That's EA. They had themselves a week as well.
They
Um.
definitely did.
This is actually something that I don't know if it just broke, but it's something that I didn't know about, and I'm just seeing an article about it now. And we don't have to spend a lot of time on this, and we can wrap up the podcast after this. But so the writer behind Deus Ex and she and the Guardians of the Galaxy, she just moved to BioWare, so she's you would
Mm.
assume hopefully Mass Effect, but probably more than likely like I don't know like Dragon Age maybe, or maybe she's gonna work on both. That'd be cool. But anyway, her name is Mary DeMarle. And she spent more than a decade at Eidos Montreal building the Deus Ex universe, and then obviously she was like the lead writer for Guardians of the Galaxy. Um, so that's a pretty cool get for Bioware, I think. Like I remember, I think it was Dice somewhere or BAFTA maybe. Um, Guardians of the Galaxy won like best narrative, um, at BAFTA or Dice. It was one of those award shows, and like
Hmm.
she was the one like accepting the award and making a speech and whatever. So yeah, she's I mean she's one of the people responsible for how good the banter was in that game. I know me and you have sung our praises for Guardians, so
Hell yeah.
having someone like that on the next big Bioware game I think is only a plus, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I really hope it's Mass Effect, man, because I really want that series to come back in its all of its glory. I feel like
Yeah,
it's time. You know.
yeah, yeah. Me too. So yeah, man, that is pretty much it in terms of topics. So we can go ahead and wrap the podcast up. Um, in our time since starting today's episode, we got another subscriber, so that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, without further ado, actually before we get started with outros, once again want to actually remind everyone to go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We're almost there, almost at 100, man. So yeah, we appreciate all the support, man.
Help us get to
Um,
100 so we can customize our URL and you can really start going places.
you gotta stop saying that, man.
It's true. I'm so excited. So I am so excited about customizing URL, buddy. I
Oh
want to
man,
do it. I want to do it. Also, check us out on Spotify. We're on there as well. So
yes sir. So yeah, let's get started with these outros, Macho. Go ahead and start things for us.
yeah, man. So it's full on DNF Duel training up until the new tournament and the beginning of, or it's the what is it, July 16th or 14th, one of those days. So I'm gonna be straight up playing more DNF Duel, more Capcom Collection as well, because I'm really just enjoying going through the entire thing there, the entire package, and just playing all the Darkstalkers games. And then I don't know, this week it might be more chill than usual. I'm trying to really just sort of what's the word I'm looking for? De-stress, I guess the word, from work and just wedding planning and all this stuff. So I'm finding a lot of tranquility in fighting games right now, and Final Fantasy 14 especially with all the new quests that are going to be added in soon. Uh, and yeah, man, I think that's about it. I've just been enjoying watching shows too, watching The Boys, watching more Miss Marvel as well. Great shows, loving those. And then yeah, that's just about it. Just gonna enjoy the summer, man. Also today, I'm gonna force myself after the podcast going to the gym. I skipped yesterday.
Nice, nice.
So after the podcast, I know we love gaming and we love sitting our butts and watching shows and movies, but man, let's keep active, especially this summer. Let's stay active, get up and jog, get up and walk around, or whatever case may be. Walk around your neighborhood, go on the elliptical, go on the treadmill, whatever case may be. Just stay active, man. It's in order to keep gaming, we gotta keep active. So
Yes sir, yes sir. So for me, probably won't be playing anything. Um, yeah, just I'm just in one of those moods again where I don't feel like playing anything really.
you
Um,
got anything in the
so
docket for the next like couple months or?
I mean, Stray is coming out this month, so and I'm actually like really interested in that. So yeah,
Oh,
I'll
okay.
I'll definitely play that when it comes out.
Yeah.
Um, Aside from that, yeah, don't really know. So it's
Do you have a full blank slate for the rest of the year, dog?
looking. Um, hey, maybe Saints Row is looking is catching my
Oh yeah,
eye,
we were talking about that. Oh no.
man.
Oh come on, dog. I'll send you a copy of Final 7 remake. We'll get you set
Man,
right. Come on, man.
man, I was so desperate that I was even looking at Saints Row 4 on the PlayStation Store as something to play.
Oh man. Why
Um,
don't you sub to the extra tier, whatever? You got more options there. So
yeah,
it's only
maybe,
like an extra couple bucks, especially if you're sub to PS Plus. So you know,
yeah.
it might be something to look into if you're like having a dry month and you haven't played anything in that list. So
And like I was depressed looking at the Batman DLC stuff because like because I watched a review on the game. Um, he did like a separate review on like the DLCs because I wanted to see like okay, like are they worth going into? And like they're only like they're only like 2 hours long or something like that.
yeah, they're not long
And
at
like
all. No.
yeah, so like I was kind of disappointed in that, man, because like the Batgirl one is the one I really like am interested in, but then like to find out that it's just like really just that one little section in the carnival, and then you fight Harley and Joker at the end, and that's it. I was disappointed. I thought it was gonna be like her own like legit kind of like big story. I'm not expecting anything like on Infamous First Light, like it being a standalone game, but like something more in line with like Horizon Zero Dawn's Frozen Wilds DLC, something like that. I don't know, man. Something worth my time. So, so
Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear. That's why I thought that at least when I was recommending, I was like, just give them a shot because they are pretty short experiences. But I don't know. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
up to what you want to do on that point. But I would say the ones that are like stupidly short are like the one I remember is like Nightwings and Red Hoods. Batgirl's the only one that was
Yeah.
actually pretty essential.
Yeah, yeah. But who knows, man? No Batmobile in those DLCs, so actually maybe I might have
Yeah,
to jump in, man.
exactly. That's another reason.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it for me. Probably finishing off some shows that I'm watching as well. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me and the DSS crew this week. We will be back next week with our 68th episode. Hopefully a more a more calm week. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if God of War actually gets up getting another showcase or what. We'll find out.
I feel like we've been saying that for like the past like 5 weeks.
We have. You got to keep the hope alive. At least something's probably going to come, and if not, then we'll keep it. We'll keep it moving. We'll
Yo,
find something else to talk about.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So these people that are saying with the slide infamous thing, they're like, well maybe there's still a chance, you know. They didn't completely rule it out, you know. Read between the lines, you know. I'm like, get your fucking magnifying glasses out of here, man. Your Inspector Gadget shit out of here, man.
Nah, dog. The best you can do is just send him a tweet saying, "Hey, I would like something to happen, but don't don't even bother, man. If in any case you have better chance, just get that PS3 at a used game store and then go ham on those.
Or you have a better chance going outside and touching some grass, man. Because let me tell you, man, there's nothing happening, man. They said it. So stop holding out hope for something that's like it's literally like the boy who cried wolf, man. Like there's nothing there, man. So just stop. Accept that it's not happening. You
Oh
know,
man, that's
don't
crazy.
read between. Yeah, yeah. They're reading between the lines of something that's not there, man. It's silly at this point. But that's it, man. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week for another episode. Until then, have a great week. Peace.